weekend of baseball continues for the Marlins tonight at Marlins Park. Rockies and Fish last night. A really nice come-from-behind win for Miami. Game 2 tonight. Roof is closed. AC is on. And the Rock is here. That Rock, Tim Rock Raines. He will join us during the telecast. One of the newest members of baseball's Hall of Fame. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. The script on the road trip, Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run, but then the Marlins lose the ball game. Last night, Stanton hit a home run. The Marlins were still down. Really nice for the ball club to win a game just like that.
Certainly felt like it got everybody in gear. It was a little sloppy up until that moment. Stanton goes deep again, and we've enjoyed this ride. Boy, it's been so much fun to watch him do this to just about everybody. And here's the thing, he's doing it to, again, all different types of pitches. Last night, a hanging slider, 89 miles an hour, and 433 happy feet later. It is a closer ball game, but the crowd, the team is responding again to what Stanton is doing right now, and that's good to see.
Marlins also got a nice start from Jose Arenado. Terrific bullpen last night. And tonight, an opportunity. Justin Nicolino's been down in AAA, and he's been pitching extremely well. He's going to try to translate that tonight against the Rockies.
Well, never easy going up against this Rockies lineup. They've got talent up and down, but when you're on your game, you go out there and execute pitches. He's been a string of, short starts at the major league level. Hopefully a little length from Nicolino getting into that third time through for the Rockies.
Last night you talked about the Rockies' pedigree of low fastballs, high velocity with big pitchers. And Jeff Hoffman checks all of those boxes.
Well, he certainly does. I still think it's a good matchup for this Rockies team. Hoffman's been outstanding on the road. Don't fall for that 4.99 ERA. He's got a 3.65 on the ERA. He's got those reverse splits, so he's been pretty good for this team. He's coming off a couple good starts, but he does have one of the bigger arms in this rotation.
One of the most powerful teams in baseball, the Colorado Rockies. One of the most powerful, if not the most powerful man in baseball, Giancarlo Stanton. News on the sale of the Marlins. When we return, Craig Minervini will have that. Away. Let's hop, skip, jump, center field. Craig Minervini Jeff Conine. Guys.
Thank you, Rich, and good evening again, everybody. And for the Marlins, pending Major League Baseball approval, Mr. Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter will own the Marlins in early October if everything goes. The big news was confirmed today by the Marlins president, David Sampson.
It's an end of an era here in Miami. You know, you look at what this ownership group here with Jeffrey Loria has been in charge since 2002. I've been working with them pretty much ever since, and it's going to be sad when they leave, but I think the new group's going to do a phenomenal job of promoting baseball here in Miami.
Here's a piece of the press conference from David Sampson earlier this afternoon.
We finalized an agreement with a group led by Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter to purchase the Marlins from Jeffrey Loria. We submitted that agreement to Major League Baseball for its approval. It's a signed agreement. The next steps are that this Wednesday in Chicago, there'll be a meeting of the ownership committee, which is a committee of Major League Baseball owners who will review the transaction. At some point during September, I believe, there will be an owners meeting to approve the transaction with a vote by all the Major League owners. And then following that, there'll be a closing. We're looking at the first few days in October after the season ends.
You know, it's almost, it's a very tedious process, almost like when you're in an escape room and you've got to find all the pieces to the clues to get out of the room. There's so many pieces of this puzzle that finally came into view and were fell into place, and now we're seeing the final deal come to place.
Yeah, it took a while. David Sampson reflected on that today. He said it's going to be very emotional. Mr. Loria expected to comment after everything is finalized, pending approval, and that is expected and sometime in early October when the team closes the deal. We got baseball coming up. Game 2, Rockies and the Fish. It's coming up next.
Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Justin Nicolino leads Miami onto the field. Rockies and Marlins. Game 2, Fish winning last night 6-3. And the Rockies lineup is a tough one. All-star Charlie Blackmon in center. All-star DJ LeMahieu at second. All-star Nolan Arenado at third. Mark Reynolds in the cleanup spot. Red-hot Gerardo Parra hits fifth. Recently acquired Jonathan Lucroy hits sixth. Former All-Star Carlos Gonzalez hits seventh. Trevor Story, the shortstop, and Jeff Hoffman is in the 9 spot. You see Arenado, along with LeMahieu, along with Parra, are just tearing it up since the All-Star break.
On the mound for the Marlins, Justin Nicolino making his first start since June 24th. Solid numbers at AAA New Orleans. 14 starts, 3.19 ERA. Now, we just did the lineup, the Colorado Rockies lineup. There's 3 lefties in the lineup. Why did I tell you that? Lefties are hitting .423 against Nicolino. That's got to change tonight. Some heavy hitters, those lefties, by the way. 4 innings or less. His last 4 major league starts. So Nicolino looking for some length. First time through the lineup, .238 batting average against. Second time, .394, Rich.
Okay, look at those numbers. 5-5 with a 3.19 ERA. What you don't see there are his last 8 starts with New Orleans. In those 8 starts, just 11 runs given up. So he's on a real nice roll. The challenge is trying to translate that performance into a big league start. The Orlando native will face Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, and Nolan Arenado to open up this night of baseball. Glad you're with us. That would be a strike. Andy Fletcher calling balls and strikes with Pat Hoberg, Tony Randazzo, and Jerry Davis out on the bases.
Nicolino is going to give you the fastball, cutter, curveball change. It's his arsenal. He uses those secondary pitches quite a bit. Fastball 54% of the time.
Nicolino, originally a second-round pick of the Blue Jays. Bouncer up the middle. Charlie Blackmon is on. That is a frequent occurrence if you watch the Colorado Rockies with any frequency. Miami defensively had some nice plays last night.
They sure did. 2 of the better defensive teams in baseball going head-to-head tonight. Marcell Ozuna is your left fielder. Christian Yelich in center field. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Dietrich, Rojas, D. Gordon, Tyler Moore back in at first base. He pinch hit last night. JT Realmuto behind the plate for Justin Nicolino.
Rockies have 3 top 10 hitters in their lineup. Runner goes, big jump. Realmuto's throw, safe. It's a perfect throw, and that shows you the type of jump that Blackmon got off of Nicolino.
Charlie Blackmon, after getting the base hit, to be very, very aggressive. Nicolino, they know that Nicolino is back up after being sent down, certainly looking to get off to a good start. So what do the Rockies do? They get after it. 2 pitches in, Blackman's already stealing.
He looks well, it was bang bang. The Marlins are still looking. He looks safe. It looks like that foot got there before the tag. Marlins take a look at the video and decide no challenge. Blackmon a single and a stolen base, and in the blink of an eye, the Rockies are poised not only with a runner in scoring position, but LeMahieu, Arenado, Reynolds, and Parra all lined up for a shot. It's hard to tell day in and day out who the hottest hitter the Rockies have would be. I mean, if you're looking all the way to mid-June, it's LeMahieu, 372 since that time. If you're looking second half, it's probably Parra. If you're looking season, Arenado. Drive to right and shallow. Stanton's there, makes the catch. Blackmon tags. Stanton's throw. Blackmon holds, and that's a good idea.
Well, everything done perfectly from Giancarlo Stanton. Why not? He's kind of in one of those rhythms right now. Everything going his way. Swinging the bat particularly well on his game defensively as well. Noticed me in the last couple of weeks really raving about the throwing. That was a good job by Stanton getting himself into position. Good strong throw to third.
Nolan Arenado, this an impressive opposite field home run against Jose Urena.
Yeah, it was fun to do in the pregame show. We kind of broke down how both Arenado and Stanton end up with a little bit of a closed stance. We talked about the changeup away and how you drive it 402 feet to your opposite field. Well, I'll tell you right now, not by stepping in the bucket. And that was a pretty good example of what Arenado does. Is he gets his feet set, He's got that toe pointed towards second base and really stays on the ball.
Stop me if you've heard this before. With runners in scoring position, he's inhuman. Nicolino spinning towards second. 446 this year is Nolan Arenado. I mean, I don't know what to say after that.
Right. Well, it's not even, I don't even think that's my career slugging percentage. It's his batting average with runners in scoring position.
Arenado, you could hear immediately snapped at Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire, saying, no, no. And he had a beef. Looks like it was just off that corner on the black and at the knees.
Well, when you're hitting 385 over the last 19 games and 446 with runners in scoring position, I'm going to say you probably got a pretty good eye, huh?
0-1. Drives that to right. Stanton again there. Lined up. Blackmon tags. Blackmon's running this time. Stanton uncorks a throw, and it's offline. Charlie Blackmon finally arrives at third base. A similar swing, but not nearly the ball that he hit when you saw the replay from last night when he homered in that direction.
All right, gets a breaking ball up in the zone. Hits it well to right. Stanton had to catch that a little more flat-footed, so he wasn't able to get as much on it. Blackmon able to move up.
Here is Mark Reynolds. I will say this, watching LeMahieu and Arenado, the approach of the Rockies is pretty plain against Nicolino.
Try to stay inside the baseball. Use your off field, meaning your opposite field. Go to right center field. Use that gap. Nicolino doesn't overwhelm you with velocity. Fastball on his cutter. Very good pitches. Changeup can be very good at times as well.
Mark Reynolds takes up. Reynolds, well-traveled first baseman, always seems to be in a great hitting environment and usually does damage wherever he is. 23 home runs, 74 driven in.
There's 23 home runs, most since 2012.
Early in his career, he was a high-volume homer guy and a high-volume strikeout guy.
Would you agree that he was one of the original strikeouts don't matter anymore? He was one of the original cast members.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He and Adam Dunn.
Right. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just keep hitting home runs. Keep hitting your doubles. It's all good, man. We're not worried about the strikeout totals.
Nicolino gets a strike.
You know what he's done better over the last few years as he's gotten older? He doesn't strike out as much. It's true.
Yeah, he has cut down on that. Last year with the Rockies, 14 homers. Nicolino looking aggressive right now, and that's one of the things that the Marlins, when they sent Justin down to New Orleans, and that was be aggressive. And there's a tendency, especially for young starters in the big leagues, to try to be perfect and try to be just off the corner.
Well, when you get hit a little bit, Rich, sometimes you steer away from contact. You start to fear contact as opposed to try to get better bad contact. You throw balls off the outside corner and hope you get swing and misses.
Line drive base hit left field, and the Rockies have a run. Blackmon crosses. Reynolds an RBI single, and it's 1-0.
Elevated fastball. Reynolds cuts it off, beats it to the spot even with 2 strikes, able to get through and drive it into the left. RBI base hit with 2 outs. It's 26th first inning run scored by Charlie Blackmon. Second to Billy Hamilton's 28. So scoring in the first inning is a pretty common event for Blackmon.
Here's Parra now. Gerardo Parra 1 for 4 last night, and that one was a home run. Rockies popped a couple out of here, and that accounted for all 3 of their runs. Miami, on the other hand, a sluggish start, especially on the bases. Marlins had a runner thrown out at third. That was D. Gordon. A runner thrown out at second. That was Marcell Ozuna. Don Mattingly wasn't pleased with either. But from that point on, it felt like the ball club woke up. The Stanton home run certainly rattled some cages. And then a really nice rally in the 8th. Oh, 2. High fastball, liner left. Ozuna coming, and he makes the catch. Rockies get a run. Marlins first swings. Next. Phillies drives it in the gap, left center field. That's going to the wall. Ozuna scores. Dietrich around third. He scores. Tatis to third. A triple.
Marlins have a 3-run lead.
There's your insurance. On the ground, Rojas sliding. Got him. What a nice win for Miami here tonight. In a capsule, that was last night, 6-3 win. Tonight, Marlins are down 1-0. Giancarlo Stanton on deck. He will appear second in Miami's lineup, where he has been since midsummer. Southwest brings you this Marlins lineup. Gordon, Stanton, Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, JT Realmuto, Derek Dietrich, Tyler Moore at first, Miguel Rojas at short, and Justin Nicolino hitting 9th. And here is D. Gordon in the box. Jeff Hoffman throws a fastball for a strike. Gordon last night a 1 for 4. See the on base sitting at 337.
He's got an 8-game home hitting streak going, 406 batting average. Seeing the ball well here at Marlins Park lately.
Quickly, it's 0-2. Miami with the win last night, now at 54-60. Still a second place spot, though a long way away from the Nationals. The Rockies at 65-50 occupy second place in the National League West. And that first wild card spot keeps bouncing between Colorado and their division mates, the Diamondbacks. Colorado 1 game ahead of Arizona, and yet 16 back of the Dodgers. Check swing. Did he go? No swing. That's third base umpire Jerry Davis. He was behind home plate last night.
Well, the wild card looks set unless somebody else starts to push, maybe in the Central. Cardinals playing pretty good baseball right now, but this Rockies team been kind of hovering around 500 over the last little while, but it's been okay. Nobody's really been pushing from behind, so it's been the Diamondbacks and the Rockies kind of in this. I mean, usually the wild card conversation doesn't lead you to yet. You locked it up at the All-Star break, but nobody else in the National League really is pushing the conversation until, I guess, the Cardinals of late.
Gordon fouls it at the plate. You're right, the Cardinals are hot. They've won 7 straight. And at 60-56, St. Louis all of a sudden is within shooting distance of both Arizona and Colorado. 4.5 games behind Arizona, 5.5 behind Mike Redmond's Rockies. That's right, Mike Redmond's Rockies for tonight. Bud Black is under the weather. Former Marlins skipper running the Rockies tonight. Bouncer to the left, LeMahieu spinning and gets the out at first base. So Mike Redmond, acting manager, of course, a teammate of yours on the 2003 World Series championship team here, and a manager as well for the Fish.
Great to see Red on the top step. Good friend, loyal friend. Very happy to see him back in uniform.
I second that emotion. Here's Stanton now. Hoffman, the big right-hander, has given up 9 homers in 14 starts. Stanton takes a fastball for a strike at 95 miles an hour. 31 games, 19 home runs. That's the run he is on right now. 7 homers his last 8 games. And he's seen a couple fastballs to start the evening.
Well, he also loves the Rockies. .435 batting average against. In fact, that's a 12-game hitting streak against the Rockies. Saw him get after it again last night. 40th home run.
Breaking ball. Stanton takes a rip at it, and the count now 1-2. 99 home runs in Marlins Park. One, two. Stanton pops it up. That's a run for Reynolds. And he's out of room. Rockies defensively tonight.
And the Rockies behind Hoffman. Very good defensive team. Nice plays in left field by one Gerardo Parra. Lackman in center. Carlos Gonzalez in right. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, Reynolds, and Lucroy. Hoffman on the mound.
Fastball. Stanton fouls it back. So the pattern here, Hoffman challenging with fastballs and then trying to get swings and misses with sliders. And he's at 1-2.
Well, one thing about the new stance with Stanton is he's really committed to, as we've talked about, that front shoulder closed, that front foot closed as well. You see the letters on the back, but it gives him a great read of the pitch away.
Breaking ball. Stanton drills it center field deep. Blackman back, not going to get it. Bounces off the wall. Giancarlo's got a double. A screamer to right center.
All right, let's take a look. Rockies are convinced they can get him out with a breaking ball. Last night hit a slider out for a home run. This breaking ball 12-6. One of Hoffman's good pitches. Hasn't given up a home run on the pitch yet this year. That one up in the zone. Got 2 different looks at that breaking ball. That one drove it to right center field. Best part about it, the approach. Look at that. Right through, stayed linear. Right through the middle of the field. Didn't pull off that breaking ball. Didn't see him try to get out and hit a home run to left or left center field. Drove it over Blackman's head.
Stanton in scoring position. Here is Yelich. The pitch misses outside. There was a terrific article, and it's still up right now on ESPN.com's baseball page about Stanton. And in it, he said one of the biggest differences this year is he's a better baseball player, he feels, not just an athlete. And I think that at bat is a great example of it. Taking what the pitcher gave him, not trying to hit it 500 feet over the Budweiser balcony.
Well, I'll wholeheartedly agree with that over the last 6 weeks, because I think he's talking about the whole package. His base running, his outfield defense, his knowledge, his approach to the plate. It's been complete. He's really evolving. I think that's just it. He doesn't want to be identified just as a slugger, just as a guy who hits the longest home runs in the game. He wants to be known as a great hitter who's got a ton of power, and there's a difference between the two.
1-1 to Yelich. Pitches in. Eddie Matz, one of the senior writers for ESPN, wrote the article, and the headline is "No one is destroying baseballs like Giancarlo Stanton." And it's a really nice read. So if you got a chance tonight on your mobile device, hop on it.
In case you're wondering, that double on the curveball, 76 miles an hour, 101 off the bat from Stanton.
Change up, and Yelich watches it hit the dirt. You got Ozuna on deck. Rockies have a run. Marlins trying to answer in the first. And he walked him. Gives us an opportunity to scout Jeff Hoffman.
Well, let's give you the Auto Nation scouting report on Hoffman before we get too far along here. 18 pitches in and having a long first inning. All right, here you go. 24 years old, 6'5", 225 pounds. He's a road warrior, no doubt about it. Coors Field, 6.15 ERA, reverse splits, right, Rich? 4-1 with a 3.65 on the road. That's what the pitchers do. They get better on the road. All right, you're going to find out early, and maybe we're finding out right here in the first inning. Fastball command is always key for Hoffman. Get this, 14 starts this year, 2 earned runs or less in 7, 4 earned runs or more in 5. Secondary stuff is pretty good. You saw the curveball already, has a good slider and changeup, has not given up a home run on any of the 3.
Marcell Ozuna with Stanton at second, Yelich at first. Rockies infield poised for 2. And Hoffman catches the corner. It's 0-1. Now that's the walk for Ozuna. You saw him come out of the box, walk around, tap the bat on his spikes. He'll do that when he comes out of his shoes and misses early in an at bat. Now it's 0-2 though.
He'll slow the hands down, slow the feet down just a little bit. Typically with 2 strikes, and you watch the focus increase.
Check swing. He didn't go, and everybody's moving up.
A slider in the dirt. Good take by Ozuna. Saw some aggressiveness there. Able to check his swing. Right, not able to keep it in front.
Wild pitch, and now the at bat changes for Ozuna. The infield's back. A ground ball past the mound would score a run. Fastball up.
Ozuna 357 with runners in scoring position this year.
He's got that dark, thick layer of pine tar on the bat. Another good take. It's amazing how that little walk, it dials him in for whatever reason.
It's like he's bipolar, honestly. You watch the first 2 pitches, he's like sometimes a little reckless, a little wild. You might chase a high fastball or a breaking ball in the dirt, but then gets past 2 strikes, all of a sudden he just hones in on that strike zone, and he just gets a lot more patient. He calms down, and it's complete opposite a lot of times of what you see at the beginning of the at bat.
See what he gets. 3-2. Breaking ball, nice play, and it stays 3-2. Well, your point about fastball command is a good one, because the 2-2 pitch he missed up.
Right.
And it's almost like he's afraid to throw it now.
Exactly, and he'll become reliable. He'll start to rely on his secondary pitches just a little bit more. It's really when Hoffman kind of goes bad, you find out early where his trust lies, and if it's in the fastball and he's getting good command, it'll open up usually for a pretty good start.
3-2. Fastball, ground ball. Stanton will score. Yelich gets to third. Story throws out Ozuna, and Miami has tied the game.
Now the wild pitch turned things around. Credit Ozuna. Good, productive at bat. Down 0-2, able to find contact even to the middle of the diamond. Good read right there. Colorado Rockies playing back. Knows a ground ball gets it done. Marlins tie up this ball game.
If there's any justice tonight, JT Realmuto will hit one off the end of the bat or get jammed and dump it in the outfield for a hit. 2 balls he hit last night for outs. One was 405 feet on a line to center. Charlie Blackmon made that great leaping catch, and then he hit a seed to left right at Parra. Takes down low. Realmuto 0 for 3 with an RBI last night.
That makes sense. Career .381 hitter versus the Rockies.
In the air to right, and that brings Carlos Gonzalez in, and he's there and he makes the catch. So inning in, Rockies and Marlins 1-1. This ballpark pass gets you into every remaining regular season home game in August and September for just $29.99 a month, and you have it on your mobile device. So you bring it, show your phone, you're in your seats. For more information, download the MLB.com ballpark app or visit Marlins.com/pass today. Jonathan Lucroy, Carlos Gonzalez, Trevor Story are scheduled to appear in the second inning for the Rockies. Justin Nicolino gave up a run, a couple hits, a stolen base.
Lucroy, the 2-time All-Star, he was 1 for 2 last night. Got hit twice. Wasn't too happy the second time. A couple of two-seam fastballs from Urania running up and in.
Lucroy takes a strike. Jonathan Lucroy out of Umatilla, Florida. University of Louisiana Lafayette. And a really nice run in Milwaukee. 7 years in Milwaukee for that training deadline deal to Texas last year. Marlins just saw Lucroy in Texas, and they faced the Rangers a few weeks back. That's a leadoff walk here in the second. Brings up Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez is hitting 7th tonight, which is really odd to see.
As well.
This guy's been a middle of the order guy ever since he was an Oakland Athletic, it feels like.
Highly productive throughout his career. All-star numbers in a lot of different spots in a lot of different ways. Homers, RBIs, doubles, stolen bases.
bouncer. Rojas to the bag, on to first, a double play. Nicely done by Justin Nicolino. Rojas had a really strong night defensively last night. He was everywhere, including that brilliant pick and tag on a stolen base attempt.
Yeah, good to see the ball on the ground. This is simply a fastball away. Cargo kind of catches it out in front. Ground ball to short. Rojas, pretty simple turn. Across the bag, take it himself, and strong throw. That's a great sign for Nicolino. Now, he's a ground ball guy, 2-1 so far on the season for Nicolino. First inning, a few too many balls in the air. I kind of took note of that. I was wondering if he'd start getting it down. That's a real good sign right here in the second.
Trevor Story now. Story 1 for 4 night last night. Of course, exploded on the scene last year, hitting 6 home runs in his first 4 major league games. On a hop, Gordon got a piece. That's a difficult play, and Story is aboard. Tough to read that ball off the bat, and Gordon trying to pick, and it pop out of the glove. It's going to be ruled an error.
He's going to catch it right there on the short hop, but more towards the webbing of the glove, and almost kind of flips it forward as he's trying to corral it. Story hustling down the line. He sure could use a hit. He's going to get an error.
You see Hoffman has got 3 hits and a 100 batting average. Marlins on this homestand are National League West friendly. Rockies and then Giants. Giants are waiting out another rain delay in Washington, D.C. right now. Mike Redmond was telling us the Rockies had their own rain issues in D.C. That one fouled at the plate. You got the Giants and the Nationals playing 2 tomorrow, and unfortunately for the Giants, I'm sure they're not real happy about it. It's a day-night doubleheader, so a 7:05 start. So the Giants will be just like the Marlins on Thursday night, play a night game in D.C.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna play the night game in D.C. Come home, come down to Miami, and get in at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, the Marlins had that before last night's ball game, and they looked like it for the first 3-4 innings of the game.
It's the wrong broadcast if you're looking for sympathy.
I'm merely stating facts.
I hear you.
You could draw your own empathy if you want. That strike 3 call. Nicolino strikes out Hoffman. 1-1 ball game here.
you know, the decision was made by us. It was made because we thought that it was in the best interest of the franchise to go forward at this time with this group, and it took a while to get to an agreement. It's a complicated deal. Anytime you do a transaction like this, baseball teams are not sold very often, and it's just complicated. And Bruce Sherman is, you know, you'll meet him. He truly is a man who has a passion for baseball and a love of baseball. Derek Jeter is an incredibly capable individual. Forget what he did on the field, because that's not relevant anymore. He's incredibly capable off the field, and thinking about what it would mean for our community and for our fans, and it just made the most sense.
Marlins President David Sampson meeting the media, talking about the reports last night, confirming that Marlins have accepted the offer, and now that heads to the Major League owners and the Major League Ownership Committee. Approval possible in September after it's initially reviewed in a week or two. Eric Dietrich up. Really nice 2-week run for Dietrich. His last 11 games, actually last 15 games, 5 doubles, triple, 3 homers, and a .315 average.
Love the RBIs, love the production. Lower third in the lineup. Dietrich really getting it done of late. Nice ball game last night, 2 for 3. Had a big RBI single in the 8th inning.
Tyler Moore is next, and then you got Miguel Rojas. Jeff Hoffman misses up with a fastball. A double by Stanton, wild pitch, walk to Yelich, and the Ozuna ground ball. That's how Miami cobbled together that run in the first. Breaking ball pulled towards first. Reynolds, who was a slick fielding third baseman when he arrived in the big leagues, has taken to first base quite well in the last few years. Very athletic over there.
Transition is usually pretty typical. Great third baseman, good third baseman, really good first baseman. Tyler Moore getting the start tonight, 282. His last 20 starts, 4 homers, 13 RBIs. He got into last night's ball game, pinch hit appearance, walked with the bat.
Goes after a high fastball, pops it over the screen and into the seats. That is strike 3. Good pitch by Hoffman.
85-mile-an-hour slider to the outside corner. Let's take a look on Fox Tracks. See that front foot down early for Tyler Moore, right on the edge. This is exactly what Hoffman likes to set up. Talked about that fastball command. It leads to, well, the ability to get ahead of hitters and then really start to introduce them to his secondary pitches.
Rojas lines it right field. That's a base hit. So Miguel Rojas at least will turn the lineup over. And that gets Nicolino to the plate.
It's like the Marlins and Rockies are mirroring each other here through the first couple innings. Nicolino can't keep this going. Rockies able to get Story on and get their pitcher out of the way, and ringing base hit by Rojas to right field gets Nicolino up.
German Marquez is a righty. A good record and a good ERA for the Rockies tomorrow. And Vance Worley trying to back up back-to-back outstanding starts.
Continues to pitch like the Vanimal.
That's right, his alter ego.
That's right. We're creeping up on nickname weekend, aren't we?
That's next homestand with San Diego, continuing the National League West theme. Justin sprays a ground ball. Story slides, got it, throws. Wow, great play. Trevor Story with DJ LeMahieu covering. And that ends Miami's second.
Tell you what, Rich, shocking to probably everybody but the Rockies. Slide, backhand, throw, strong throw to LeMahieu. Wow.
Known for his homers, he's a very good defensive shortstop.
Sure is.
A celebrity barber. That's right. Lots of ink and internet stories as well around the All-Star game. All the All-Stars wanting to get his work. A lot of players line up for his barbershop here in Marlins Park. Visiting teams will wait till they get to Miami to get that signature look. I don't know that Charlie Blackmon's been in yet, but there's still hope.
Rumor has it he's modeling his beard after Juice.
Yes, well, Juice doesn't have the moss on top.
Right. He needs to go see him for a haircut.
It's fun to walk by his door and open it up just to see who's in there. It's a small little barbershop, but usually there's 2 players waiting and 1 in the chair. And it'll be a visiting player, a Marlin.
Wonder if Charlie Blackmon's seen him. I don't think so, but I don't know. I'll have to try to verify that tomorrow.
Justin Nicolino back on the mound. Charlie Blackmon has seen Nicolino singled, stole a base, and scored in the first on a Mark Reynolds 2-out base hit. Breaking ball, and he gets a strike against Blackmon. Baseball busting out all over on this Saturday night. Blackmon finds another hit, drives it up into the gap. Ozuna cuts it off. Now the challenge for Nicolino is to do a better job of keeping Blackmon at first. He had a gargantuan jump and stole second, despite a perfect throw by JT Realmuto.
Yeah, he did that right away. First pitch. Blackmon 7 plate appearances this series. He's led off the inning 6 times, so getting a lot of opportunities to do what he does, lead off.
LeMahieu calling time. LeMahieu is a big second baseman. .6'4".
Yeah, 235. He's not your traditional second sacker, if you will. Baseman. Most guys, you know, your prototypical is maybe a little Altuve.
Now the guy on the right called a lot of the guy on the left's games when he was Montreal Expo. Tim Rock Raines, who finished his career as a Marlin, honored here tonight for his recent induction to the Hall of Fame. And he'll be our guest here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. What to ask Tim Raines?
Got a few ideas, a few questions I want to ask him. Enjoyed watching him as a young lad.
There's his teammate from Montreal. The Hawk pitches out. We could ask him about that '94 team that never got a chance to finish the season.
Place to start. I loved his approach at the plate. I think he was kind of a trendsetter in his offensive approach. High on base percentage, took his walks, stolen bases, power, kind of that do it all. I wonder if he sees anybody in the game today that has his game. He sees himself in them. At least I think a little Jose Altuve maybe.
Nicolino now falls behind a dangerous guy in DJ LeMahieu, who lined to right his first time up. You've got Blackmon at first. We can ask Tim Raines about his post-Montreal stay and what it was like to win a world championship with the New York Yankees. He was a Yankee for a pretty good stretch. One foul back. 3 years a Yankee, and those were good years to be a Yankee. 5 years a Chicago White Sox. 13 years with the Expos. Runner goes, bouncer up the middle. Rojas got it. Little flip. Gordon turned, got it. Double play.
Absolutely beautiful. We raved about the last out of the inning for the Rockies. Story, great play at short. How about this, people? Check it out. Forehand, quick flip. D. Gordon, bare hand, pivot, and throw. LeMahieu never had a chance. How about it?
Justin Nicolino with a couple of double plays. It's always nice to face Arenado with nobody on, especially with nobody in scoring position. That play may end up different differently if the slide rule was back in the day of Tim Raines and Andre Dawson.
Definitely could go in harder, and you definitely went in with the idea of breaking it up. Would never throw anybody under the bus, but I definitely was told many times throughout my years, put the middle infielder in left field. What that means is go in as hard as you can, break it up, make sure there's no throw back to first base. It's a no-no now.
Arenado fouls it off. Colorado a game in front of Arizona. Diamondbacks are about to start against the Cubs in the desert. I think both those teams may start keeping an eye on St. Louis. They've won 7 straight. They're tied with Atlanta 2-2, top 3. To right field, Stanton over. He was hanging out in the gap, and he's there and he makes the catch. Tim Rock reigns when we get back.
Produced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
1-1, bottom 3. Miami and Colorado. This is game 2 of a weekend series. Marlins 6-3 winners last night. Jeff Hoffman delivers. And D. Gordon takes outside. Gordon, Stanton, Yelich, top of the order for Miami. Marlins got a run in the first. Stanton a double. Yelich a walk. Ozuna a ground ball out to score Stanton. That runs in. So the count 3-0. Love to Marlins love it. This combination of Gordon on base and Stanton at the plate.
We watched D. Gordon heat up, and it's been on quite a tear for the last couple of months, in part because Stanton behind him. You got to believe he's getting good pitches to hit. D loves to swing the bat. Seeing what kind of havoc he's creating on the bases.
Takes a couple of fastballs. Now the count 3-2. Rolls it out towards DJ LeMahieu. There's one out here in the third. And here comes Stanton. Tim Raines will be joining us in the top of the fourth. Stanton's double was to right center field. It was over the head of Charlie Blackmon was trying to chase it down. It was high fastballs and then breaking balls away. That's a low fastball to start this at bat.
Seems everybody's wising up a little bit on that inside lane.
A little righty on righty changeup.
He'll mix it in. He'll throw it. He doesn't throw it often, only about 7% of the time, but he will. Stanton certainly qualifies as saving pitches for that guy.
Steals a strike on that check swing foul tip. It's 1-2.
Yeah, both starters look to work towards getting that ball on the ground. A few more balls in the air early, first inning, second inning. Much better. Both have gotten in a better spot, better rhythm. Hoffman already 5 ground ball outs tonight.
Good take. Another changeup. Rockies infield swung towards third base. 3 guys on that side of second. Reynolds way off the bag at first. And you saw Lucroy thought he had strike 3. So did Hoffman. And Lucroy literally turns to talk to Andy Fletcher. It was right on the black, and it had plenty of room under the letters.
You might wonder if he lost that pitch when Lucroy, he kind of rose up just a little bit on those back legs. You know what I mean? He just stood up a bit. It almost looked like he took the strike out of the zone.
Stanton through that hole, rolls one into right field. Started saying this a couple months ago. Stanton this year more hitter than slugger. Now look, he's hitting home runs at an incredible clip. But tonight's a great example of that. Still 2 hits to that side of the field.
Well, Rich, you and I have talked about this, and to your point, it's a great one. The hitter aspect as opposed to the slugger aspect. And when you're willing to take this, and of course it's 2 strikes, but he's thinking this way. He's thinking more hitter, and he's turning into more slugger. Does that make sense? And the byproduct of everything he's doing right now is that, yeah, he's hitting a lot of home runs, but it's not because he's trying for the home runs. He's actually just doing what he does in the 2-hole. Drive the ball to right field, hit mistakes, put together good at bats.
Yelich finds right field. Gonzalez has it. Stanton to second. Miami's got 2 hits, and it brings Ozuna up for his second at bat.
Now some of the ground balls starting to find holes. Yelich pull one into right field. Set Ozuna up for a opportunity with runners in scoring position again. Picked up his 88th RBI last at bat on a ground ball to short. All right, relive the 90s on Crystal Pepsi's 90s Throwback Day tomorrow. The first 7,000 fans will receive a 90s themed Marcell Ozuna Big Bear t-shirt courtesy of Pepsi. Stay after the game for a post-game concert. I'm going to be there. Salt and Peppa, that's right. Presented by Crystal Pepsi. Get your tickets today at marlins.com/tickets. See you tomorrow.
Just fun to hear you say Salt and Peppa. Ozuna lifts one in the air to right. An easy play for Gonzalez, and nobody advances. And that brings up JT Realmuto. Realmuto chased a high fastball back in the first and popped it into shallow right. Wonder if we'll see JT at first base tomorrow.
It's a good question. Tilly's had a nice ball game yesterday. Tyler's been swinging the bat a little bit better. I don't know, and I think manager Don Mattingly's kind of playing with it right now. If there's somebody who might be a little bit hot, like maybe you want to keep JT's bat in the lineup on what would necessarily be an off day. Maybe you do, because the 2 weren't hitting particularly well. But I think with Talise's big day yesterday, Tyler swinging the bat a little bit more. Maybe see if it's a little bit more of a traditional split, the ABs.
Hoffman misses away. One of the ironies of tonight's ball game is that both starting pitchers, Jeff Hoffman and Justin Nicolino, were high round draft picks of the Toronto Blue Jays. 2014, 9th overall was Hoffman. And for Nicolino, 2010, he was a 2nd round pick at University High School in Orlando. And they both arrived in their present teams with the big trades. For Hoffman, he was a nice piece, a big piece that the Rockies got back in the Troy Tulowitzki trade. It was back in July 2000, I believe, 15. Now, Realmuto hasn't had much to look at in this at bat. You got Dietrich on deck. All right, here's a question for you. 3-0 green light here?
Well, probably not right now. JT's expanded his strike zone a little bit over the last week or so. I think he's been out of his zone. I think right now he's just trying to get consistent again.
Whoa. Realmuto didn't like it. Obviously, Hoffman, no intent. Still, it's not a lot of fun to have one zipping right at your noggin.
No, yeah, there's no intent, there's no purpose, but nobody cares. That's the point. Yeah, as a hitter, you don't you don't care what the circumstances in the game tell you. 94 at your head gets your attention. Certainly warrants a little look out to the mound.
Well, Hoffman was all over the place in that at bat, and here's Dietrich with the bags loaded.
We'll see if one thing leads to another. I told you at the beginning of this ball game, a lot of times Hoffman will start to lose that command, and he can implode. He can put up a big number quick.
Dietrich digs in, bags loaded. Fastball up, and right now Jeff Hoffman's having trouble dialing it in. Steve Foster is the pitching coach for the Rockies. Bud Black has done such a wonderful job with this ball club, with this organization, arriving in his first year. Rockies playing so well right now in a postseason position.
It's interesting what I've learned about Hoffman, or at least in this start tonight, Rich. You know, he talks about he talked about before tonight's start, you know, how important his fastball command is, but a lot of times guys will lean on their secondary pitches. If their command's not there, maybe throw a get-me-over curveball or a slider to kind of find the strike zone. He doesn't really seem, he wants to stay focused on using the fastball first to set up his secondary pitches. He's not really gone to the secondary pitches to try to help out maybe that command. He's behind 2-0 to Dietrich again after 4 wild ones, all on fastballs to JT Realmuto.
Mike Redmond running the show, Bud Black under the weather, and our good friend Mark Wiley, great pitching coach and sort of the vice president of pitching for the Rockies, in uniform and on the bench tonight. Dietrich ready, 2-1 coming, bags loaded, 2 outs. It's 2-2. Dietrich last night 2 for 3 RBI single and a big one that started the scoring in that 8th inning. He scored on the 2-run triple by Talise. And Hoffman back in the at bat, even now at 2-2. Dietrich center field. Blackman has room. Big yard, and Blackman makes a catch right at the start of the track. All right, Tim Raines is in the house, and we can confirm he's in the booth. And he joins us next. The Hall of Famer,
This year's newest inductees into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Tim Raines.
Very nice introduction from another Hall of Famer, Dave Van Horn. But of course, the introduction to Cooperstown was long overdue, and it happened for the man they called Rock. An incredible run for the Montreal Expos, a World Series championship, the New York Yankees, some nice years with the Chicago White Sox, and he finished his career in 2002. Eli, his old teammate in Montreal, Tim Wallach, caught the first pitch here tonight, and he joins us now. First of all, Tim, congratulations. Long overdue. I know it was a thrill, and for you, and look out. Look
Hawk's coming to get a little.
Yes.
How you doing, Hawk?
You
Good to see you,
guys
brother.
set me up, man. You guys set me up.
That's right. That's
it never
right.
changes, right?
No, it doesn't.
Hawk gave us $10 to do that.
That's right.
Oh my God.
What was it? I mean, what was it like? I mean, just hearing your name, seeing the plaque, getting up and making that speech.
It was a great feeling. I mean, you know, you think you prepare for it. You think, you know, you don't really know when the call is going to be made, even though you think it's going to happen. But as soon as that phone rings, there's adrenaline in your heart just start beating a little faster than normal. But you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the call, I wanted to like scream as loud as I could.
Right.
Hell yeah! But it kind of came out like hell yeah. So it was really emotional, man. Just an emotional feeling. You know, a good 10 years that I've been waiting for it, and that day it finally came.
We'll talk about that. Rock, I think that's it. I mean, the journey, you know, for some it's, you know, you get on the ballot the first time, and, you know, a lot of times guys will get in, including, you know, some of the guys you were standing next to. For you, the journey was a little bit different. We all got it. We knew your track record and your story, but it took a little bit longer.
And, you know, you never know how it's going to work out. You know, I mean, I remember the first thing Andre Dawson told me after, you know, the first year I was on the ballot. He said, homie, don't worry about it. This is a process. And he called me every year for 10 years. 9 years. He didn't call me this year. He told me he wasn't going to call me, and he didn't. But I ended up calling him this year.
Right.
But he told me, don't worry about it. You know, it's going to happen. And I believed in him, and I believed in the process. And, you know, it all worked out in the end.
Your Montreal Expo years. You were playing north of the border at times in anonymity, I'm sure it felt like, in Major League Baseball. You had some really good teams. Andre Dawson, Ellis Valentine, yourself, Tim Wallach. Those years in Montreal were your very best, and that must have been a lot of fun. That team seemed to just be incredibly talented and athletic.
Well, and that's true. I mean, and I think, you know, when you're on a team like that and you have the athletic ability and you have the players, everybody wants to go out and do their thing together as a team, you know. And, you know, obviously Dawson and Carter was our leaders. And they were leaders by example. I mean, Dawson led. I mean, but he was one that didn't really say many things. But to watch him day in and day out go to the post every day with bad knees on artificial surface, but you know he was going to get everything he had when he went out on the field. I mean, you can only want to try to get on his shirt tail and try to run with it, and that's pretty much what happened with me and him.
He's your shadow too. Look at him. He's still got a few more punches in him. One out here, Gerardo Parra at the plate. The era in which you played and excelled was an era of speed, and you brought speed and power. And you know, Ricky Henderson was a guy in the other league. You probably didn't see him much, but you guys were both just such dynamic players at the top of the line. Did you ever trade notes with him in the course of your career?
No, as a matter of fact, I didn't really get a chance to meet him until I went over to the American League after my 11th year. I went to the White Sox, and I think he was still playing with, I'm not sure what team he was on. I mean, he went from Oakland to New York, and I think he went to a few other teams. But it was the first time I actually got an opportunity to meet him. And I was a big fan of his myself. You know, I mean, we kind of played similarly. You know, I think the one thing he had that I didn't have, well, I had it, but I mean, he hit more home runs, more leadoff homers.
Well,
you know, and I was one of those guys that, you know, I would always step to the plate to lead off a game and always took a strike, at least one strike, and I wasn't looking to hit home runs, and it got to like the latter part of my career where I kind of like started setting guys up for that, you know, and I wasn't really that much of a leadoff guy later in my career because, you know, I had lost a couple of steps and, you know, I wasn't playing every day, so there was opportunities for me to like kind of go up there and kind of, you know, not take that first pitch like I normally do for like you know, almost 20 years. So I would jump a couple guys and I would get lucky and hit it solidly and hit some balls out of the ballpark.
385 was your on-base percentage over your long career, 23 years in Major League Baseball. Justin Nicolino, good breaking ball there to Jonathan Lucroy. It's 1-2. And a World Series championship with the Yankees. But nice to, as your career was starting to wind down, be the veteran presence on some really good Yankee teams.
You know, and that was pretty much the reason for why I went to New York. You know, I went there. It was my 17th season in pro ball. You know, I just left the White Sox 5 years. We had some great teams, and we just couldn't ever get over the hump. I think the best team we had was the '94 team, and that's the year we went on strike and we lost the playoffs and the World Series. But you know, that '96 team, you know, we got in as a wild card and ended up winning it all. But that was a team full of veterans and some great young players. Derek Jeter's first year, '96. Posada, I think that was his first full season. Yeah, Bernie Williams in center field. All these guys were young guys. They were just starting to make name for themselves at the major league level, and you know, Pettit as a pitcher. So I mean, I was in the right place at the right time with the right players. So ended up, you know, doing what we did in '96.
I want to ask you about some of your impressions of modern day players, and especially Giancarlo Stanton. You get a chance to see him in person here. I'm sure you watch some games on television. Have you met Stanton? What do you think about him? And when you watch him, is there a guy you can compare him to in your era?
Well, I met him today for the first time, and you know, that's a big deal. that's a big guy, and you know, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but he kind of reminded me of Andre Dawson a little bit. You know, that's one guy that
liner right center field. Stanton after it, not going to get it, and it's going to bounce out of play, and it'll be a ground rule double, and the Rockies will lose a shot at that run, at least for now.
A huge advantage right there as the ball hits the track and goes over the wall. Lucroy probably would have scored pretty easily. See the two outs. He was running on contact. Picks on a first pitch breaking ball and drives it into right center field. It's no man's land right now. See, it hits the wall behind the wall. He knows he lost himself an RBI right there, right, Rock?
You know, speaking of Stan, he's a big guy. I've always wanted to ask you this. How did you come up with a nickname for Randy Johnson as the big unit? Because that was you, right?
Yeah, you know, he's 6'11". I mean, that's just not baseball type of size for baseball. I mean, he's either been playing basketball or just basketball, right? You know, and it was awesome to see, you know, him develop as a pitcher. I mean, when we had him in Montreal, he couldn't find the strike zone, and they decided to try to win. And they made a deal for him to go to Seattle.
Mark Langston. Yeah.
And Langston gave us 2 months and decided to go free agent. So we lost Langston and we lost Big Unit, and there were 2 other guys in that deal that ended up being major league pitchers. So that was just a situation, I think, where we were trying to win it all for that 1 year, and unfortunately we didn't win it, and we didn't keep Langston, and we lost a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Who was the little unit? I mean, if there was a big unit, was there a little unit?
There's no little units. It's only a big unit. I mean, if anybody would call, little units, that would have to be guys like my size. So
now you guys are.
I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't gonna go there.
Right. Well, now you guys are on the same team, right? I mean, you knew that you saw the big arm back then, right? And now you guys have plaques together.
Well, you know what? I was talking to him at the ceremony, and I told him, I said, I remember facing you one time. I was with the Oakland A's, and you were with the Diamondbacks, and I led off the game with a home run. That's one of the few leadoff home runs I ever had in my career. And I said, I hit it off you. He's like, I don't remember that.
But you did.
I remember that. As a matter of fact, I was okay. You guys can go.
Hey, congratulations! So many people were rooting for you to get there. It was a great moment to watch.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Terrific career.
I'm so happy for you, man. Well deserved. Well deserved.
And don't be a stranger. Come by the booth if you're ever at Marlins Park again.
I promise. The next time I'm in Florida, I'll come over and hang out with you guys.
All right. Sounds good, man. We appreciate it.
And watch out for Andre Dawson. He's waiting for you.
Is there another way out?
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Jeep, by Hankook. Chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. In Miami tonight, it's a 1-1 ball game and a fortunate bounce for Miami in the top of the fourth. That Carlos Gonzalez double bounced up over the wall, ground rule double, kept Jonathan Lucroy at third, and Tyler Moore jumps on one, drills it to the deepest part of the park, and it bangs off the wall. Blackman plays it there. And that's a double for Moore. My goodness, that's a long ways. It's not as deep a triangle as it used to be, either here or the old place, but Moore found that niche for two bases.
Yeah, still pretty impressive. Jumps on a first pitch fastball. Why not? Marlins tonight have really done that against Hoffman. A lot of times that's the best pitch you're going to get. See the aggressiveness right there. Swing. Short hop the wall in center field. Start to the bottom of the fourth.
You got Rojas and then Nicolino. This is the bottom third of the order. Breaking ball misses outside. Miguel singled to right back in the second. Rockies outfield. Well, let's face it, you got good arms out there, especially in the corner spots with Parra and Gonzalez. That's a big device. Little looper going to fall. Moore had to hesitate. Gonzalez picks it up. Stop sign is up. And it's at the corners with nobody out. And here's Nicolino. And he's getting a visit from Freddie Gonzalez right now.
What a great piece of hitting from Rojas. I'll tell you what, even if we're trying to defend that, Rojas is like, you know what? I find success in right field all the time. I'm still going to move him up. I'm going to move him over and find a base hit in right field.
All right, Todd Hollinsworth, there's a few options here for Don Mattingly. Why don't you go through them?
Well, I think option number one is going to be to try and bunt Rojas to second base, and I think that's the one that's going to happen. If you've got a fast enough runner at third base, you can also do, well, you call it a bit of a safety squeeze, which is a read. A lot of times, as they runner on third, you can follow him all the way down. Don't think Nicolino is going to be swinging here. It's just going to be the direction of the bunt. Top priority, sacrifice Rojas to second base. If they can get a little bit extra, it would be a good situation as well. So let's watch, see over there at third base what Arenado does, how they'll play it.
He's even at the bag, and a throw to first just to see if Nicolino flinched or showed bunt. Remember, Nicolino broke his finger trying to bunt. Squares. Arenado charges, and the pitch is up. And for all this to work for the Rockies, Hoffman has to throw strikes.
Well, first pitch changeup right there tells you he was trying to get a little tricky. He's hoping that Nicolino might pop it up.
Gordon on deck, and then Stanton. There's the bunt, and it rolls out towards the mound, and the sacrifice is successful. Rojas arrives at second. Now you got D. Gordon up with Stanton on deck and one out.
Arenado at third base. He was kind of bluffing that he was going to charge hard. Hoffman able to field it, and only the sacrifice could be had for the Marlins. Tyler Moore could not drift down the line. That sets up another creative offensive opportunity for the Marlins. What to do with D. Gordon. So everybody has to keep their eyes open with D.
Corners are even right now. Middle infield's back, so a ball past the mound on the ground gives Miami a lead. And it goes to short. Late break. Story's coming home, and Moore is out. For whatever reason, Tyler Moore hesitated at third base, and it was fatal.
The extra 2 steps, he definitely could have used them. Didn't get them. My guess is he believed this ball could potentially have been caught. It's only a couple feet. As soon as Story is able to read it. So watch the contact there. His first move is kind of to freeze. That's exactly what he ends up doing. He doubts himself. Just a real bad break, and Story able to throw on the run. We've talked about his arm strength all series long, and you got a pretty good look at it. More out by a mile.
So if anything's going to come of this inning, it's Stanton. He's had 2 good at bats against Hoffman. He doubled in the first, singled in the third, and both balls went to right center. Fastball starts the at bat.
No shifting going on now, Rich.
Yeah, LeMahieu's back over on the first base side. Ball in the dirt, and it scoots away. Rojas gets to third. Gordon holding at first base.
That can a lot of times be a tough read for a trail runner. Instinct is you've got to watch Rojas. You don't really watch the ball in the dirt. You can't go unless Rojas goes. So You almost forfeit a step or two.
How many times have we seen a guy at first start when the runner at second starts, and then the runner at second stops?
Right.
And then it's real trouble.
Proceed with caution was what I always believed and was told many times by my first base coach. You're only as fast as the guy in front of you.
A missile to left and deep and gone. Wow! Blink and you missed it. Giancarlo, number 41. And he lights up Marlins Park again. His 100th in this ballpark. And a 3-run lead for the Fish. The bartender got that up at the Budweiser bar, gave it to a customer. What an incredible run this man is on.
Yeah, there's no evidence to believe it's going to stop now. He continues. We continue to see the patience pay off. What a night for Stanton.
And this place is just buzzing. Look at how easy.
Look at the reaction from Lucroy. Look at that. The one mistake that really has been made tonight. I continue to talk about it. I mean, honestly, it's almost like I need to get a recorder up here. If you make a mistake middle into Stanton right now, it's gone literally every time. 463 feet, 114 miles an hour. His double over 100 miles. I mean, he's locked in.
Yelich fouls it back. That was the scene. The bartender found the ball in the bar and handed it to a customer. Yelich, a chopper over the middle. LeMahieu there, flips to first. What a turn of events. The Rockies lose that run on the ground rule double. Stanton arrives with 2 outs and absolutely vaporizes one. 463 feet later, Miami leads it. Four 4-1. Fifth inning rolls around. Stanton is a triple shy of the cycle.
Oh, there's that too? I thought we stopped at 463.
A changeup that he puts in the bar, literally in the bar. 463 feet away. And now for Justin Nicolino, top of the order, and the third time through for the Rockies. So a big inning for Nicolino. Blackman has singled twice. Justin has used a couple of double play balls to get him through innings, and that nice bounce on the Gonzalez double. Add to the fact that Gonzalez is in the 7 spot, so the Marlins were able to intentionally walk Trevor Story and pitch to the pitcher Jeff Hoffman, and that ended the inning and left the bases loaded.
Blackman is now leading off his 8th time. Literally the inning. First 2 games of this series. Oh, excuse me, 8th plate appearance. 7 times he's led off. He's doing a pretty good job of getting on. Marlins have done a pretty good job of keeping him in check for the most part after that.
Blackman's on again, and in the gap, thinking about 2, Yelich cuts it off. Blackman actually not that quick down to first. So he's got a base hit. LeMahieu, Arenado, Reynolds are lined up as the Rockies try to answer another assault by Giancarlo Stanton.
For the 5 Colorado hits have come to the left-handed bats. Obviously 3 with Blackman. I mentioned early on the lefties much better numbers than the righties against Nicolino.
Blackman stole a base back in the first, so he's 3 for 3 with 3 singles. Stanton right now is 3 for 3, double, single, homer. And you can add a home run to those numbers we ran through early. For Stanton, in his last 9 games, this being the 9th, and it's not over yet, 8 home runs. His last 32 games, this being the 32nd, 20 home runs. Blackman another huge jump. Real Muto got no chance. Ball skips into center, and Blackman's going to take third base. And a throwing error has things lined up now for the Rockies with Blackman at third and nobody out.
Blackman big jump. You see it 3 steps where the ball's on its way to the plate. Short hop throw into second. Blackman up and after it all the way to third. Unable to keep this on the infield.
Ball hit the grass, which brought it up and over D. Gordon's glove. It hits the dirt and may stay down a little bit. Infield back. And LeMahieu lines one to left. Ozuna's there, makes the catch. Blackman tags and scores. So 4-2. Geico presents a Marlins moment. Ramon Castro, a 13th inning walk-off homer as the Marlins beat the Dodgers 5-4. You remember that game, 2003?
I do.
Arenado bounces it in the hole. Dietrich loads up, fires. Nice play. Arenado crossing the bag. A little bit of difficulty.
Stumbles across the bag. Dietrich doing his best. Arenado, how about it? Showing off that cannon of an arm. Willing to retreat and pick up the big hop. Oh, he catches the backside of Moore's ankle. Everybody's okay. Nice play by Dietrich.
Reynolds had an RBI single in the first. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready tomorrow. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. It's Billy the Marlins' birthday. Reynolds left field deep. Back goes Ozuna with Yelich, and Yelich makes the catch just short of the wall. Rockies get a run. Miami leads it 4-2. Carlos Stanton's home run, 463 feet, landed in the Budweiser bar. And guess who else has landed in the Budweiser bar? Craig?
Yes, I finished my beverage here, thank you. And bartender, give me a beer and a baseball. Here's where it landed, guys, literally in the bar area. I don't remember one landing in here. It bounced off this section over here and bounced up. The bartender was worried about 10 fans were going to fall in, and it was Ed to the rescue. Ed, what happened on that? Now, you've learned to be very careful here, especially when Stanton gets up. How so?
Yes, you hear a crack, and you just look up and hope you don't get hit and knocked out, and you just pray for the best.
Were you actually serving it at the time?
Yes, I was. Somebody knocked that drink over, and I was kind of like, oh, crap. But, you know, it happened all in good faith or whatever, so.
So what happened? The ball came, bounced in, and then what happened?
It bounced in, bounced over here, and flew up, and I had like 5 guys fighting for the ball, and I was like, relax, relax, relax. Little girl's like this with a puppy face, and I couldn't say no to her, you know, so I had to give it. And she was a Rockies fan, too.
I didn't realize she had a purple shirt. She was a Rockies fan, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Be careful, you're right. Were you guys in the area?
Yeah, absolutely.
What happened?
Yeah, it hit my hand. Came crashing out
a piece of it?
It hit my hand. I mean,
that's new information right there. Hit his hand. All right. Be careful if you're out here, especially these days. 463 feet, bounced right in the corner, and the bartender came to the rescue, which happens a lot on weekends in South Florida.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Get that guy a beer.
You got it, even at these prices.
Yeah, well, a Lime-A-Rita would be nice, too. So Stan's hit his 41st. Miami's got a 4-2 lead. JT Realmuto with 1 out, nobody on. Slow bouncer over the middle. Story glides over and makes the throw. The Rockies haven't lost much at shortstop, from Tulowitzki, who was a Gold Glover, to Story, who is seemingly all over the place and has a strong arm. Is a big shortstop, but moves very nicely.
Yeah, very agile. Rockies certainly hope they can keep the left side of their infield together for quite some time.
Dietrich now has bounced out, flied out. 80 pitches in is Jeff Hoffman. One and two.
Hoffman continues to go after Dietrich with fastballs. All 3 at bats tonight.
Good take. 2 and 2. So Stanton has homered, and Justin Nicolino is through 5, and he's given up just the 2 runs. Both very good things for Miami.
Nicolino only able to go 4 innings. 4 innings or less his last 4 big league starts. So stuff tonight.
That's inside. And Dietrich's on his way to first. And it gets Tyler Moore to the plate. Remember, he doubled to start that 4th inning in the deepest part of the park. Hit one probably 410 feet off the wall.
He jumped on a first pitch fastball. Let's see if he's early count aggressive this time.
Let's see if he gets one. He missed there.
Good take on a couple breaking balls. Hoffman trying to work ahead.
See if he relents and gives a fastball up here. Rockies bullpen in action. Carlos Estevez. Yeah, fastball. Arenado is a wizard. And he throws him out over at first. 3 ground ball outs. Arenado gets 2 of them. This ball game is headed to the 6th with Miami up 4-2. Purchase a special event ticket. You get an exclusive Billy the Marlin birthday bobblehead. You get a photo with Billy and the Sea Creatures. Bring your donation of back-to-school supplies, and you'll also get a special photo autographed by one William Marlin. Get your tickets at marlins.com/special events. That's what his mom says when she's angry at him. It's not Billy, it's William. What trouble are you getting into?
He's a feisty fish sometimes.
Gerardo Parra for the Rockies. Justin Nicolino trying to get through 6. Rojas sliding and throwing and getting Parra. I'll tell you what, I know Adeiny Echeverria was a supreme defensive player, but Rojas has really sparkled at shortstop.
He certainly has. 2 steps and a slide to the backhand. Good strong throw across to Tyler Moore. Watch this. Boom, boom. Got quick. How about the defense we've seen in the first 2 games between the Rockies and the Marlins? I'll tell you what. Left side of the Rockies infield, left side of the Marlins infield as well, been dynamite.
Here's Lucroy now. Jonathan Lucroy has walked twice. He's had a patient night.
Well, 3 times last night as well.
Mets are beating the Phillies 1-0 top 5. And that is in Philly. And the Phillies are without a hit. Steven Matz has walked 2, struck out 1, and has 4 no-hit innings. To right, and that's going to sneak out of play. One and 2. Cubs and Diamondbacks are underway. Cardinals have pulled ahead of the Braves 5-3. St. Louis trying to win their 8th straight. Not only trying to put pressure on the Cubs, but put pressure on Arizona and Colorado. Those are the 2 wild card teams right now. Colorado's in the 1 spot. They're a game ahead of Arizona, but the Cardinals with this win streak have crept within 3.5 games of that 2nd spot. What a nice confidence booster this should be for Justin Nicolino, especially if he can get through this 6th and hold on to this 4-2 lead. Because it looks like and it feels like the things that he's done in AAA are translating here to a major league mound.
Well, outside of Charlie Blackmon getting on 3 times, those lefty-righty splits we mentioned early, it's been outstanding. We talked about some of the things that were plaguing his starts. First go round with the Marlins, inability to get through the lineup a 2nd and 3rd time. Tonight's been outstanding. The numbers don't lie. First time through the lineup 238. That's very respectable. That number was going through the roof the 2nd time through, up to 394 and over 400 the 3rd time through. But what you've seen tonight is not that. He's been able to a couple key ground ball double plays, make some pitches, limit some damage.
Justin McGowan in Miami's pen. Three-2. Fox Sports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved by visiting foxsportsupports.com. 3-2. Folks down that right field line are getting a lot of action.
Well, neither Nicolino or Lucroy want to change their approach. Nicolino convinced he's going to get an out on the outside part of the plate. Lucroy pretty committed to go in that direction.
Who will blink? that came in, and Lucroy was able to fight that off. So a 10-pitch at bat right now. And these two have been stuck at 3-2 for a while. And he lost him. That's 3 walks from Lucroy.
Lucroy's seen a lot of pitches tonight, a lot of bullets from Nicolino, and you heard the frustration.
All right, as you pointed out, lefty bats have success at times against Nicolino, and this lefty bat hit a ball in the gap to right that looked like it was going to knock home a run, and it bounced up over the wall. It was a ground rule double. Lucroy had to stay at third.
This is now a key spot as Cargo gets in the box as the tying run.
Real Muto for a visit. Well, the Marlins really have had to scramble to piece together a rotation. That, of course, started in late September of last year. Edinson Volquez injured. Wei-Yin Chen injured. Remember, Tom Kohler had his struggles. He's down in AAA. Adam Conley had his struggles. He spent time in AAA. Vance Worley has been really good his last 2 starts, and that's been a big help. Jose Ureña's been the surprise of the rotation this year, a very pleasant surprise.
Because of those injuries, you've got a couple spots in your rotation that now the Marlins system you're auditioning for. Meaning if you pitch well, you're going to earn the next start. And I think that's what Vance Worley has done over the last couple of starts. He's in a position where you pitch well, you earn that next start. And it starts out, every year always starts out with the ideal game plan, and then things start to change. Either poor performance or injury. A lot of times he'll change that up. For Justin Nicolino, so far tonight, he's been outstanding, and that's what he needed to be. But going back to AAA, didn't let things get away, worked on what he was told to work on, earned his way back up here. He's now putting together a pretty solid performance tonight.
The pitch count rising here in this inning. He's at 16. Line drive base hit through that left side. Ozuna returns it to the infield. Now a decision you would think for Don Mattingly. McGowan is ready. Trevor Story reached on an error and was intentionally walked. Pitcher spot up next, but the Rockies have a pinch hitter ready to fire. Pat Valleca is the pinch hitter on deck. And so Don Mattingly on his way out, and Justin Nicolino will exit here in the 6th. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. $5 when you ask for the grouper from the Florida Lottery. With so many life-changing prizes, get your group ready. Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older. Play responsibly.
First of the bullpen, here comes Dustin McGowan. 3.36 ERA, 59 innings. That leads the bullpen crew. Very nice job this year. Only 6 home runs allowed. Which in last night's ball game got 4 big outs. Marlins bullpen outstanding last night. McGowan came in and picked up Urena. Garcia came in and picked up McGowan. It was good to see. Wearing runs out of the bullpen last night. Only 1 hit allowed.
Trevor Story waits. This is a powerful Rockies team. No question about it. When Trevor Story's your 8 hitter, a guy that's hit 15 home runs, that's some pretty good pop. Jonathan Lucroy's at second. Carlos Gonzalez tying runs at first, and there's 1 out. McGowan into it. Dustin appeared for an inning and a third last night. First pitch, a strike. Pat Valleca has been replaced on deck. Little ninjas there now. See, I tell you, he sneaks up on you. Alexi Amarista.
That's right.
Nobody saw that switch coming. Mike Redmond running the team tonight. Bud Black under the weather. We hope that the skipper of the Rockies is feeling better. We look forward to seeing him tomorrow. One. Two balls and a strike. Marlins built this lead on a Giancarlo Stanton missile. 463 feet up into the Budweiser bar. Literally into the bar. It took a 1-1 game to 4-1. Rockies added a run. Good pitch by McGowan to run the count to 2-2.
Lively fastball was big for him last night. He was able to use the outside corner to a couple of right-handed hitters and pick up some big strikeouts. Big pitch right there, leans on it. A lot of times when he's behind in the count.
Infield hoping for a ground ball. 2-2. Got him. Story not happy. A great pitch by McGowan. There's 2 outs.
Story never saw it coming. Front door breaking ball. Everything middle away the entire at bat, and this, you see, it creeps right back to the inside corner.
That's a perfect pitch.
It really is. It's in the inside part of the plate. You see righties throw the 2-seamer back to a lefty and a righty on righty matchup right there. When it starts outside the box, hitters a lot of times just give right up on that pitch, as Story did right there.
Alexi Amarista now. Pick off. And back in time is Lucroy. Gonzalez at first.
Rockies have had base runners in every inning tonight. Marlins have done a pretty nice job of wiggling out of a few of these jams.
Amarista, a longtime Padre, a starter for a couple of years, generally a utility guy, utility infielder off the bench. And with the Rockies, he fills that role, and a pinch hitter as well. .138 at bat so far this year. McGowan goes 1 ball and 1 strike. He gets a 2nd strike.
Almost the same spot. Good location by McGowan. Look on the edges right now.
This takes a little more finesse from Don Mattingly now in the absence of David Phelps and even A.J. Ramos. It's changed a lot of roles.
Like your bullpen arms, you have a variety, different arm angles and different arsenals, but you want to match them up the right way. Absolutely right, Rich. You know, it's not as simple as saying, you know, Bear Claw, Phelps, Ramos. Those days are gone. You look at splits, you look at matchups, you look at ground ball rate. Just a few more things that you certainly have to consider. Did a pretty nice job of it, other than a few blow-ups every now and again. Bullpen's really held it together.
1-2. Mucha has to pick it off the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, if McGowan can get through here the 6th, then you got 7, 8, and 9. Bullpen was terrific last night. McGowan, Harley Garcia, Junichi Tazawa, and then Brad Ziegler in the 9th. Right back to the mound. Dustin McGowan gets the 2 outs he needed. And Miami hangs on to a 4-2 lead. T-Mobile brings you this unlimited baseball break. Mike Matheny and the Cardinals are red hot. They are rolling right now. Carlos Carrasco and the Indians. Wilson Contreras, though, out for 4 weeks with a right hamstring strain. Dustin McGowan right now. Gotta feel pretty good about the 2 outs he just got. Hanging on to that lead. Built on the Stanton home run, a 3-run shot. And the Rockies go deeper into their pen. They bring a lefty out. Chris Russin. Rojas takes a strike. Ichiro is on deck. a roller towards short. Story gets around it. Fires on the run. And gets Rojas. And here's an Itro at bat against the lefty. Russin from the same college as JT Riddle, University of Kentucky.
He's got pretty good stuff for a lefty. Fastball slider. He's been a starter, now a reliever with the Rockies for a while. Also with the Cubs. Ichiro, 18 pinch hits on the season.
On to first in time. And Itro is out. 4-3 in the books. Russin with 2 quiet outs, and here comes D. Gordon.
D.O. for 3 tonight.
And the damage here tonight for the Marlins is in the on-deck circle. Stanton a double, a run scored, a single, and a 3-run homer.
Scored the first run and drove in, well, the other 3.
You got to know Russin is thinking, I don't really want to face Stanton here, so.
I was just sitting there thinking the same thing. At first place I looked was bullpen activity for the Rockies to see if they had a righty going. There's nothing going on down there, right?
Gordon floats one out into center field, and it's going to nestle for a hit, and Russin's going to have to face Stanton now. Toyota brings you an inside look. Brought to you by the all-new RAV4. Home run champs in the 2 spot in the order, somewhat rare. Ryan Sandberg did it back in 1990. Dwight Evans, Dewey in 81. Eddie Matthews with the Milwaukee Braves. Stanton stands in, as we've noted a couple times. A triple away from the cycle. Fouls that one off his foot.
Stanton's got a couple career triples at Marlins Park.
That's to me, the oddity of the cycle, right? I mean, it's like you're thinking, oh man, if you can just get the triple. No, we want another 460 feet.
Just play the game. If it happens, it happens.
Let the big dog go again.
That's exactly right. All right, we know that Giancarlo Stanton's been hot as a firecracker. Last 32 ball games, 20 home runs. Last time that has happened at the major league level, Shawn Green 15 years ago, 2002 with the Dodgers. 20 home runs, 32 game stretch.
Shawn Green's a guy that many people compare Christian Yelich to.
Played with Shawn Green, and I see the similarities.
Stanton right now behind the count 0-2. Gordon away from first. And a swing and a miss. Stanton throws the bat down. 4-2 still, Miami. and his closed batting stance. We'll let Todd Hollinsworth take it from here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch the progression all season long. You see right there, this is May 1st, okay? Straight up. This is what we teach everybody, right? Here's front shoulder towards the pitcher, but you know what? You got to make sure you step back towards the pitcher and stay on that outside pitch. Well, what does Stanton do? He knows he gets to see a lot of pitches away. He actually closes up a little more, even with the toe tap. Very odd. You see Nolan Arenado do it, but that's his style of hitting. Now, Stanton has now closed his front shoulder off, but he's moved off the plate. Look at that. It's almost like that front shoulder's pointing at the second baseman. Look what it allows him to do. Now he's really confident. He's thinking away, and even when he gets the mistake back out over the plate, look at Jonathan Lucroy. He's like, uh-oh. Yeah, that's right. 86-mile-an-hour sliders don't survive there. Stanton's all over it. This move originally was put into play so that he could stay on the pitches away, and it's unlocked the inside part of the plate to him. At first he closed up, Rich. He was closer to the plate, remember, in St. Louis, and then he moved off the plate a couple more inches, and now he covers both so well.
We talked about the Marlins and Don Manley needing to finesse the bullpen a little bit more without those pieces, Bear Claw, and of course we traded A.J. Ramos and David Phelps. Not that there's any finesse with Drew Steckenrider, but he's in here in the 7th. After 2 outs from Dustin McGowan, Steckenrider in the top of the order here. And a really good one in Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Arenado.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steckenrider all filled with all sorts of finesse. He's got great secondary pitches. Boy, oh boy.
Center field, that is going to drop for a hit. That's the 4th hit for Charlie Blackmon. 4 singles. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Guys caught up with Mark Wiley before the game. He had 2 stints as the pitching coach with the Marlins in 05 and then back under Freddie Gonzalez 2008, 2009. Tonight he is handling the bench duties for Mike Redmond, filling in for the ill Bud Black. He was a pitcher for a few years in the major leagues, not too much. He had a stint with the Twins and Toronto in big league baseball. There's a good shot of the young Mark Wiley, but he was also the pitching coach for the '97 Cleveland Indians. 20 years ago when the Marlins won their first World Series. I asked him what he remembered from that series, and he pointed a few things. The cold game, 38 degrees, 18 with the wind chill, game 3. He said, we shouldn't have played it probably. Crazy game, wasn't even like a baseball game. 14-11, the Marlins won that. Also, he said when Charles Johnson came up in that final game, 2-1 game, bottom of the 9th, he said they were throwing fastballs into him the whole point, and Mesa shook that off and threw him a little slider outside. CJ had a base hit, got a loot at 3rd, scored in the sack to tie the game. And finally, he said, when I was a coach for the Marlins, every time I went to that coach's office, I had a pass, a shot of Craig Counsell, that big picture with Counsell hitting the plate. He said, I never forgot to tell Counsell. Every time I saw him, I'd say, I have to look at that picture every time. And Craig said, sorry. Guys.
All right, thank you, Craig. Good guy, Mark Wiley. And he's done a really nice job with the pitching in the big leagues and in the minor leagues for the Colorado Rockies organization. DJ LeMahieu's up. He's 0 for 2. Steckenrider gets up and in on him. And the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Arenado and Reynolds. For the Marlins, you look at their 2, 3, 4 hitters. Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna. When Bohr was in, Bohr, and then Real Muto. That's a really good run. Runner goes, and a little dribbler foul. Would you say that the Colorado Rockies 1, 2, 3 hitters are the best 1, 2, 3 punch in all of baseball?
Oh, that's a great question. I have to think for a few seconds, but right off the top, I mean, even if I say yes, I know there's not much of an argument. I mean, really, you're just, you're going between 2 MVP candidates and a batting champion from last year. So, maybe you consider the splits. I love the combination out in Arizona. You've got Lamb and you've got Goldschmidt. He's having an MVP type season. You got Turner and Bellinger going on in LA. I mean, you got all. I mean, that's just the West, right?
1-2.
Even got back to the Nationals.
But I think what separates this is Blackmon in the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
well,
you put a guy there with 27 homers, right, 25 doubles, a slugging percentage in the 600s, and an on base of close to 400.
I love the combination. Obviously, Blackmon being left-handed. DJ's right-handed. LeMahieu, you see him here, won the batting title last year in the National League. Then you follow it up with Arenado.
Steckenrider 1-2. Good battle here with LeMahieu. fastball is in. You mentioned LeMahieu won a batting title last year. He had 348. It was the 10th time in their history, in 24 seasons, 10th time that the Rockies had a batting champ. 8 different players did it. Not only that, of the years they didn't win it, they had 6 runner-ups. Runner goes. Real Muto fires down to second. This time he got him. Rojas with the tag. Real Muto had not been given a chance to throw Blackmon out, and this time he does. It's like Miggy got his glove caught up in the feet.
Third time's a charm. Steckenrider throws a little harder and a little quicker to the plate. Maybe caught a spike. Rojas comes out shaking his hand once again. Look at that. Just got absolutely stepped on by the slide of Blackmon.
You know what that is? That's instant replay. Swing and a miss. I think he foul tipped it, and Real Muto held it. That's instant replay, partner, because 3-4 years ago, infielders were swiping the tag. They get the glove in and get the glove out. Nobody gets hurt. Now, with instant replay, you got to have the glove down there and stick it there, and that's dangerous.
Oh, well, that's the rule of thumb. So what has changed? You don't have runners going into the bases nearly as aggressive with their legs, but you have middle infielders staying in there longer because they've got to hold the tag. See, that's the point. Used to be a little bit of a different dynamic, but yeah, you're seeing guys keep the glove on the tag or holding the base and keeping the tag on the runner and all that other stuff that goes on. It's a byproduct of instant replay.
Arenado takes in, and it's 2-0. Steckenrider throwing in the mid-90s here.
Tell you what, Mr. Steckenrider has been quite impressive. It's his return to the big league team.
Hot smash at third, almost got Stu Cole. Third base coach. High pop-up. That one almost reaching the riding press area, which has had a few more balls there than we've had here.
Seat caught that one.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes! Pat Hobart says strike, and now he's thrown Arenado out of the ballgame. Arenado fires his helmet, and he's on his way out. This isn't going to change it, but Arenado upset. We'll look at it when we get back from the break and sort it all out. A nice inning for Steckenrider. Here's the pitch and the sequence.
Elevated fastball, 95 miles an hour. Arenado does not like it. Boy, he is a little testy tonight. That's my first reaction to this is whether he went or not, you see that Arenado is clearly frustrated with slamming the bat down to the ground. That's going to get the attention of the umpires. I guess where I go with this is thinking back to earlier in the ball game. Arenado, even the first pitch that was called a strike on him tonight, snapped around and kind of was, on the home plate umpire. So sometimes, maybe it's your disposition or your emotions, but clearly got the best of him there. It's going to cost him the rest of this game.
Pat Valleca's at third base. His older brother Chris was a Marlin for a while. Yelich, and that one hops over Mark Reynolds. And Christian Yelich has a base hit. Let's take a look at a side view of the Arenado swing and put that to bed. I've seen it called a strike. I've seen it called no swing.
A lot of times, but here's the thing, Rich. When it's an elevated fastball, though, that's the one that gets umpires an awful lot. No matter where you see it, maybe it's 50-50 one way or the other. But when you see somebody go up into the top of the strike zone and check their swing, even there, almost always gets called on you.
Russin still in, the lefty. And here's Ozuna looking for his first hit of the night. And Russin misses in.
You do that on a pitch down in the dirt, you might get away with it. You might get the call to go in your favor. But high fastballs, check swings very rarely.
Well, there's two things to be upset about if you're Arenado. Number one, that it was called a swing. Number two, that he was tossed out of the game. But if you throw your bat overhand like that and chuck it with that type of force, that usually gets you an early exit. Mike Redmond got out there as fast as he could just to make sure that there was no further fireworks between the two.
See a good changeup by Russin. He's got the arsenal of a starter, still uses it to this day. Earlier in his career.
All right, Ozuna took his little walk there after his first big swing of the at bat.
He wasn't anticipating a 2-0 changeup.
Two balls, two strikes. 4-2 ball game. If you're just happening by, you missed on another obliteration of a baseball by Giancarlo Stanton. His 41st of the season. 463 feet to left, up into, and I do mean that, into the Budweiser bar up on the balcony. Ball was actually fished out of the bar by the bartender, who handed it to a young fan. Ozuna, bouncer, Valleca out there. LeMahieu's turn, and it scoots by Reynolds, but it stays in play. And so Ozuna ends up at, oh, he's called out. Ozuna's called out by Pat Hoberg. They'll say Ozuna made a move, and now this is going to draw the attention of Don Mattingly, I would expect. Well, is it that when he reversed field?
I don't know about that. Yeah, but that's usually a left shoulder turn, not a right shoulder turn. It's not about how much emphasis you put on your right foot. Watch this. Now, if he turns to the left and crosses the line, if you will, and starts to make a move, see that's but that's the other shoulder.
I don't know that it matters.
Well, obviously you're telling me it doesn't.
Real Muto lines it into center field, and it's caught there. Some excitement around first base last inning, huh? Speaking of beer, Giancarlo Stanton landed one right up in the bar off the Lime-A-Rita machine or thereabouts.
If there's a dent.
There's the ball. There's the bar. Fans missed it. Then they couldn't find it. Where's the ball? Look at the bartender. Hey, everybody stand back. Stand back. They're looking for it. And guess what? Bartender has it. Now watch him make someone's day.
Right.
He told
She was
Craig.
so excited. Look at her.
He told Craig once he saw the puppy dog eyes. Brian Ellington into the ball game in a key spot, a 2-run lead in the 8th. And he throws a strike. This is a nice spot here for Ellington, who's certainly had his challenges this year.
See the walks. That's the one thing that always stands out. Live arm, 98, 99 miles an hour. Developing secondary pitches, including that changeup.
4 consecutive scoreless outings, all an inning apiece. And as I noted, remember back in the 6th, Don Mattingly having to finesse this bullpen a little bit. McGowan, Steckenrider, Ellington. Junichi Tazawa working back-to-back games. Remember, he worked Thursday night and he worked last night. You can't just run everybody out there night in and night out. So every now and then you're going to need a Brian Ellington to come in and get some important outs. Reynolds, Parra, and Lucroy. And Ellington walks it.
No, not the start he was looking for.
Here's Parra now. And then you're facing Lucroy, and he's walked 3 times tonight. Juan Nieves on the phone. We'll see who gets up to throw. Parra homered last night. He has the tying run here in the top of the 8th with nobody out. Dritzheimer Despagne, and that's a really good illustration that Tazawa is probably not available, or possibly Ziegler's not available, because Ellington and Despagne, 2 guys that you haven't really seen at this spot in the game. That one goes all the way to the screen, and Ellington has come in. He's walked the leadoff man. He's gone 2-0 on Parra. Real Muto calling for time.
Rich, that's the changeup. Nowhere near the strike zone. Able to turn it over and runs on him, gets away past JT Real Muto.
Juan Nieves out there. One of the things Nieves talked about the other day about Ellington, they tweaked his stance. We focus so much on batting stances and such with guys like Stanton and Arenado. And Nieves was talking about Ellington and his pre-pitch stance. They wanted him a little more hunched over, a little more compact, because they felt, having watched film and watched him live, if he is standing tall, he has a tendency to fly open and the baseball does exactly what it just did there, and that fly up. So maybe that was a reminder to tighten it up a little bit. There's a strike.
The test for Ellington now is going to be that fastball command. Colorado Rockies hitters won't be looking for any secondary pitches until Ellington proves he can throw a strike. Now they're going to sit on heaters.
Well, whatever it was that Nieves just imparted to Ellington, suddenly he is a little more compact and a lot more direct to the plate. That was the changeup, and it just missed.
You're absolutely right about the mechanics. That's the pitch that went all the way to the backstop, flew open, and the changeup came flying out. It's, yeah, barely on Fox tracks. See the changeup there off the outside corner. Again, this is the part of predictable that I talk about for Ellington. He's got a live fastball, but hitters are sitting on it.
Wow. 97. He strikes out Parra. Really nice recovery for Ellington, and a good mound trip, as you like to put it, for Juan Nieves.
Good meeting, Juan Nieves. This is why you love the kid. When you've got this kind of arsenal, when you've got this kind of, I should say, fastball, live arm, continue to work with it and continue to mold it. And Ellington's earning more responsibility, but he's going to have to command those secondary pitches. And comes another good test. Jonathan Lucroy, 3 walks tonight. 5th career 3-walk game of his career. Went on base 6 times in the series. He's only got 1 hit. A hit by pitches last night.
And you could see Ellington when he's in the stretch. He's bent a little at the waist, hunched over just a bit, not standing as tall as he was at the start of the inning. A 1. Didn't go. It's a good take by Lucroy. Was able to keep the bat at bay.
You watch Ellington, you realize if he ever consistently possesses or starts to bring it all together, the entire arsenal, you realize that he could absolutely dominate at this level.
99, that's high velocity stuff, and now it's on target.
Sometimes you've got the ability to default to a gift, and right now Ellington's got that gift. He's got a high octane fastball at 99 miles an hour. Those secondary pitches come along, boy. That really is the difference between some of your elite closers and those who hang out in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. See a lot of live arms there, but command of the secondary pitches is not nearly the same.
Into right field, base hit. Stanton is there. Late start at second by Reynolds, who just arrives at third base. Kind of surprised that Mark Reynolds didn't run to third. In that spot, if a right fielder bobbles the ball, you can still score a run. Watch.
Yeah, there's no threat. I don't quite sure what that was all about. That's a clean signal to the right side. It wasn't.
Well, he slipped, you could see.
Well, but I think he was thinking about stopping, actually. Like he kind of looked back like he was second guessing his break to third. That's surprising.
Well, here's Gonzalez, and now Ellington. 1 out, runners at the corners. And Cargo lets it fly. At 97. That was a really nice at bat by Lucroy. If he gets back to where he usually is, and he was having a down year in Texas, and maybe The Mile High City was just the trick. Rockies are going to be really happy with that down the stretch. 0-1.
Couple hits in tonight's ball game for Cargo.
On the ground, Gordon out there, and that's it. Rockies get a run. It's a one-run game, and there's 2 outs. That's an RBI for Gonzalez.
At this stage of the ball game, the Marlins will trade a run for an out. 2-run lead, now 1. Turned by D. We'll get Lucroy at second base. No chance of getting Cargo going down the line. That was 2 hops in the hole. Long time to develop. Cargo picks up the RBI. Only his 7th road RBI this season.
Now, Trevor Story struck out his last time up. He's having a high strikeout season. 136 of them. That's 7th highest in baseball. Wow, that one popped right out of the glove of Real Muto. That's not, look, when you reach for a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, it's hard to hold it.
Well, it's the second ball that's gotten to the backstop. However you choose to view it, this has got to stop somehow. Ellington's given up too many extra bases. Call that a pass ball right there. 97, you're right. I mean, he yanked it.
I don't think that's a pass ball. Not at 97, not that far outside.
No, it's imperative that he have the kind of control.
And Story gets hit. So Ellington did not have control. Then he dialed it in, and now against Story, he loses it. And you've got a youngster about to make his major league debut. You've got Despagne in the bullpen, a veteran right arm. This is Ryan McMahon, who was just called up from Albuquerque. And this will be his major league debut. Having an outstanding, that's a great place to hit, as Todd Hollinsworth will tell you.
That's right.
It's his
stomping the grounds.
AAA home. Number 3 prospect for the Rockies. Played in the Futures game in this ballpark. That's his mom on the right, his girlfriend on the left. It's a big moment. Changeup, first pitch.
Marlins are forcing Ellington to become comfortable with those secondary pitches at times. Cannot become so predictable as we talked about. Fastball.
Ryan McMahon. Muto has to go out and stab another high velocity pitch.
Well, you see the other problem that Ellington runs into is that his misses aren't, you know, pitcher misses. They're hitter misses. They're easy takes for a hitter. When you miss the outside part of the plate by that much, it's an easy take. It's just a wasted pitch. And Ellington finds himself doing this a little bit too much.
In the air center field, Yelich going back, has room, squares up, got it. Wasn't easy. A run scored, but the Marlins hang on to the lead and go to the bottom of the 8th, up 4-3. Derek Dietrich. Actually, my bad. It's Ellington.
Let me tell you something. That's great to see. That's a teaching moment right there. That's coming from one of your captains. The man right now. They're still talking. This is going on. A lot of times you teach a young guy by talking to him, not always surrounding yourself with the pitcher's voice, your pitching coach, and the other pitchers or the starters or the relievers. A lot can be learned with a conversation with a hitter. It goes a little something like this. Your stuff's too good for you to be looking the way that you look out there sometimes. You're pitching to hitters, you're giving them way too much respect. And I have a feeling that that's probably the tone of that conversation. As we talked about Ellington's fastball, it is. The kid's got good stuff, but he's got to learn how to harness it.
Rockies run a new arm out there. Out of Bud Black's bullpen. Carlos Estevez. Just a couple of scoreless innings in Cleveland. And Rockies split in Cleveland. Dietrich, Moore, and Rojas. Insurance would be nice, especially with Charlie Blackmon set to lead it off in the 9th inning. On the top of that Rockies order. Dietrich fouls it out of play. Oh, Dietrich off of Estevez. Valleca will hold it. Let's hope he's all right. He's looking at the right arm, the right shoulder. And obviously Mike Redmond and the training staff are going to come on out to the mound.
Dietrich all over this. Swing short, compact. Just blowing away. Off Estevez. It caught him in the right shoulder. It's been a weird couple innings. Looking to see if it left the mark.
Well, obviously they're going to let him throw and see if it left any soreness or it somehow inhibits the throwing motion.
My guess, usually with that, you're okay for now, but you're going to feel it tomorrow.
Well, no one's convinced yet. It's his 3rd pitch. Ooh. And you know what? When it goes to the screen, I don't know.
He said he was good.
He's trying to stay in. Yeah, I don't think the Rockies are going to mess around here. Really? He says he's all right. Well, he threw one to the screen. He bounced the other one.
He's looking for a swing and a miss.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he was testing his.
That's right. It's a 2-strike fastball right there.
So Tyler Moore is up. Moore has doubled. He's 1 for 3. Steve Foster, the pitching coach. Mike Redmond running the club. And you saw Foster go directly from Redmond to the phone, and we'll see who gets up in the Rockies bullpen. Tyler Moore trying to bunt, pops it into the seats.
I cannot believe we've seen this year from Tyler Moore.
Now Rojas is up next, and then you've got the pitcher's spot, and you obviously would have a pinch hitter there.
No sack bunts on the season for Tyler Moore. Of course, it's the guy throwing 99. That's usually how it goes. One career sack bunt for Tyler.
Lets it down, rolls up first, and it's picked up there by Reynolds. And that moves Dietrich to second.
Well done by Tyler Moore. Gets Derek Dietrich in the scoring position. I was laughing because as a hitter, when you bunt the 99, you're thinking, field it, please.
El Dorado invites you to settle in with us tomorrow as the Marlins and the Rockies go at it. A Marquez-Worley matchup. Good season for the Rockies right-hander. And 2 really nice starts in his last 2 times out for Vance Worley.
He's got that ERA under 5 down to 4.82.
Rockies bullpen is active. Tomas Talis is on deck. And here's Rojas. Miami looking for insurance. Rockies outfield has shortened up. Two hits for Rojas tonight. Dietrich runs pretty well. Not a burner.
A good job at second base, getting himself a good secondary lead. That's always important. It's what you want to do as a base runner on second base. It's not about the initial lead. It's about how far you can get off after it. Trying to draw attention to yourself with a long, lengthy lead.
Ziegler getting ready for the 9th. Two and one. Well, Rojas likes to go to right field. Remember, you've got Carlos Gonzalez out there with a great arm. And if he pulls it, Parra is one of the best ever in throwing runners out from the outfield. What was it, 87 assists in his career? He shoots it to the right side. LeMahieu flips to first. So this is going to be a Tomas Talis at bat with 2 outs. RBI Baseball 2017 is now out for Xbox One, PlayStation, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pickup and play Major League action, packed with all your favorite Major League Baseball teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Learn more at rbigame.com.
At least a big ball game yesterday. Huge triple in the 8th. Drove home a couple of insurance runs. 2 for 4 on the ball game. Real nice approach.
He gets a look at Estevez. And Talis lifts it out in shallow left. Story out, Parra in. And it's Brad Ziegler coming in, trying to save it with a 1-run lead. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Hurry in to the Summerbration sales event today. In Miami tonight, Marlins and Rockies have arrived in the ninth, and it's a one-run lead. Top of the order, and it's a great top of the order for the Rockies, although Nolan Arenado ejected from the game. Remember, that's Pat Valaika, who is in the 3 spot. But you got Blackmon, you got LeMahieu, then Valaika, then Reynolds and Parra. So this is not an easy go for Brad Ziegler, who's seen plenty of the Rockies in his career, especially when he was in Arizona.
Certainly is not. Blackmon leading this thing off for the 9th time in this series. All right, what else do we know? He's gotten on base just about every time. 7 of 9 plate appearances, 4-hit night tonight.
4 singles for Blackmon. He walked twice and was 1 for 3 last night. Counts 0-1. Ziegler figures he'd throw one at the bull. There's your Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. Hit leaders: Inciarte chasing Blackmon, Arenado, D. Gordon on that list, Ozuna and LeMahieu as well. It's a good representation in this ball game. That's a fair ball. Diving stop there. Moore up, flips, and he got him. Ziegler got there. What a play. That's extra bases. That might be 3 bases with Blackmon. Mike Redmond asking for a look from the video room on our Bonefish catch of the game. Great fish, great cocktails, great times. Head to Bonefish Grill.
Absolutely outstanding by Tyler Moore. Watch that. Yep, Ziegler just in time beats Blackmon to the bag. We've been raving about the defense all series long, and might be the best of them all. Certainly is the biggest spot of them all. Huge play by Tyler Moore.
Now LeMahieu. And Ziegler, who, as you pointed out, has such better depth in late life on everything he throws since he came off the disabled list. He's out in front 0-1.
He's getting the results that he was used to last year.
Bouncer short, 2 hops, Rojas over, in time, 2 outs. Vintage Brad Ziegler.
Lots of ground balls to the infielders. That's how he does it. That's how he rolls. Getting it done a lot lately. Four straight scoreless appearances, 3 saves. Good stuff. This is where you miss Arenado.
Over the middle, backhanded Gordon, not going to get him. That's a base hit, and the Rockies have life. Tying runs aboard, and they'll get Mark Reynolds to the plate. Another ground ball, but this was in the right spot.
Good sign for Ziegler. Tough play for D. Gordon. Love to see the ground balls. Comes up with it clean. I'm not sure he gets him at first.
So Pat Valaika with a base hit. Mike Redmond running the Rockies tonight. Bud Black under the weather. One for 8, couple strikeouts. These guys, I believe, teammates at one point in Arizona long ago. Miami's outfield is deep and playing Reynolds to pull.
Ziegler has to find his way back into this at bat. He certainly does not want to see Parra step into the box. 36 RBIs in his last 38 games. Parra has been one of the hottest run producers.
That's a strike. 2-1.
Ziegler wants this to end right here. It's his former teammate Mark Reynolds.
Three and one now. Full count. He's going to start the runner at first.
Pretty good example right there from Ziegler. The trust. We tell you, it's not about velocity. He just challenged. Just challenged Reynolds. 3-1, 85-mile-an-hour fastball with some sink in his hands, and still gets a slow ground ball to the left side.
3-2, runner moving. It's in. And the Rockies get Parra to the plate.
Ziegler went there 3-1, tried to go back 3-2, missed down to Reynolds.
As we've told you, Parra, one of the hottest hitters in the second half, came off the DL on July 7th. He leads the National League with a .400 average since then. 0 for 4 tonight.
He's been so productive. He's found himself. He was in the 4-hole last night, 5-hole tonight. Manager Mike Redmond putting him in this spot. Big spot for Parra, big spot for Ziegler.
And Ziegler opens the at bat, missing out, and it's 1-0. Here's your matchup. Miami's outfield straight up. Valleca at second, Reynolds at first. Miami's lead is 1. There's 2 outs in the 9th. Ziegler comes in and gets a strike. Parra homered last night. Both middle infielders out to talk. 1-1. A ball and a strike. I'm in out away from the win. Ziegler misses away, and it's 2-1. And the Diamondbacks 2 bases away from tying this ball game. And 3 bases away from taking the lead. Right side of the infield, very deep. Moore at first. Gordon's on the outfield grass. It's another strike. Parra shoots that one foul.
Awesome. Very big pitch right there for Ziegler. Good to see. Got Parra reaching. Puts it in his mind. And after the 2-1 pitch, expanded the strike zone. Ziegler's going to try and find out if he'll get antsy here. He chased something in the similar spot.
2-2. Now a strike away. Ball, and he went for it. Ball game. Miami wins it. They've taken the first 2. Stanton goes deep again, number 41. A nice start from Justin Nicolino, and just enough finesse from Don Mattingly with this bullpen, McGowan, Steckenrider, Ellington, and Ziegler.
Yeah, great to see the bullpen. Outstanding stuff. Great job again tonight. Second win versus the Rockies. The sweep tomorrow.
4-3 the final. Marlins Live is coming up.